Thursday, 6:30 a.m. in the morning Central, and I, for one, am super excited about the day.
I for two.
I for two?
I'm excited.
I for three.
I for three.
Huzzah!
Is that a thing? I for
It
three?
is now.
I feel like it should be.
Yeah.
I did watch a Super Mario Brothers movie.
Good.
Did you like it?
It's good.
It's actually
quality.
pretty good.
Very solid.
Yeah, quality movie.
Solid movie.
It is pretty good. I like the way they went in and out of the like different worlds. I thought
Yeah.
I watched that on the plane back from Vegas when we went to Power Slap.
Nice.
was a
I
good
enjoyed
time.
it, man.
That was a good time. I'm ready to have a good time this morning. You
Yeah,
guys,
my eyes has been watering this morning. I don't know why.
are you
Stop
emotional?
crying.
I don't know. It's an awkward situation, to be honest.
Everything cool?
Everything's great.
What's going on?
I hop out of the bed possessed, but my eyes are just watering.
Talk to us about it.
I don't know,
Well, I don't want you to be-
Me and my body are having a conversation.
Ew, that's a conversation I can't wait.
You're invited.
Yeah. Bad start.
RSVP.
Great start.
Texas backup quarterback Maalik Murphy has now entered the transfer portal. We'll update you on all that. Warriors forward Draymond Green is suspended indefinitely by the NBA, and we're going to break down the mega matchup in the Rose Bowl between Alabama and Michigan. I'm Jake Crane. It's a Thirsty Thursday, and let us quench it here at Crane & Company. Now, regardless of how you feel about who actually made the college football playoff, we would all be lying to ourselves if we said we weren't excited about seeing an Alabama and Michigan matchup, especially with the way the teams are built in a little bit different ways this year. Now, there are a ton of different factors that are going to go into this game in determining who wins. It's going to come down to 3 to 5 plays, and we're all going to pick out 3 that we think are going to be the most important. But in my opinion, there's 2 that will happen on the field that are very important, and 1 that is happening right now off the field. The first on the field is the quarterback run game. Obviously, when you add a quarterback that can run, it brings a different element that the defense has to defend. There's a reason that Georgia struggled defensively with stopping teams where the quarterback could run. There's a reason that Alabama has struggled defensively when facing teams that have a quarterback that can run. And in this game, with J.J. McCarthy and Jalen Milroe, as tight as that line of scrimmage is going to be, being able to get a hat on a hat schematically and being able to have the quarterback be not only a decent runner, but an effective runner and a powerful runner in the red zone could be the difference. We're going to continue to talk about that. The second major factor on the field that I look at is not only penalties, but timely penalties. Sometimes it's not about you getting penalized, it's when you get penalized. We've seen multiple, and I'm talking about probably the most that we've ever seen from a Nick Saban coach team, touchdowns called back for Alabama, including in the Iron Bowl, because of penalties. You cannot get a 5-yard false start on 3rd and 1 in this game. You cannot put yourself off schedule or behind the chains in this game, regardless of what side you're on, Michigan or Alabama. But the third, and I think the most important, and this really falls to Michigan, is do those players, I'm not talking about the fans, do the players actually truly believe that they can beat Alabama? Because this is the same core that we saw 2 years ago get run out of the gym by a fantastic Georgia team. This is the same core that we saw last year lose to TCU because, in my opinion, they were looking over their shoulder wondering if they were going to get a matchup with Georgia in the national championship game again. Now, I know Georgia's not in this Final Four, but a big dog in the SEC is, and that's Alabama. The buildup for Michigan has always led to this point. You are going to have to get through an SEC team to win the whole thing. So we talk about guys preparing. Are you preparing to win? Or are you preparing to hope to win? Michigan does not have a chance in this game if they don't believe that they are the superior team. Because when you play a team like Alabama, and coming from an Auburn perspective, I can speak on this the best. If you fear them, they will bury you. If you do not believe when you walk into that fight that you're strong enough to knock them out, they will embarrass you. Because those dudes in Tuscaloosa, they believe. Because a national championship is the standard. It's been done before recently. It is what is expected of them, and they haven't won one in a while. So if you're a Michigan player, whether you're in the huddle at practice, whether you're in the locker room, whether you're walking around campus, it's not about whether you believe in front of your teammates. It's when you lay your head down at the pillow, on the pillow at night, do you truly believe you can beat Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide?
Yep.
And I got a former Michigan Wolverine on my left here, David Cohn, former quarterback, former Western State Colorado wide receiver, Blaine Crane on my right. And you know, it's something that I don't think enough people are going to talk about. You look at the on-the-field matchup. We've broken this down. We'll continue to break it down. We can talk about the quarterback's ability to improvise outside of the pocket. We can talk about, getting into 2nd and 5, getting into 2nd and 3s, getting into 3rd and 2s, turnovers, field position, and all that's great. But, David, can Michigan get over this hump?
I think you're spot on 100% because on paper, I don't see this as a matchup nightmare for Michigan. I mean, on paper, I see Jim Harbaugh with the best roster that he's had. I see him with the best quarterback that he's had, who's also a junior. I think Michigan should embrace this challenge. I mean, Ric Flair has come over to the Go Blue camp now and been supporting Jim Harbaugh in Michigan all season. What do you say? If you want to be the man, you got to beat the man.
Sure.
And it does feel like that Georgia team 2 years ago when they lost that SEC championship game to Alabama. And we said, well, here we go again. Like, there's just a trust factor when it comes to Alabama. Now, Georgia went on and beat Alabama in that national championship, then won another national championship. So, of course, it can be done. The three factors that I have right here are, just like you hit on, how do you rush Jalen Milroe? Right? This isn't just a Michigan thing. This is the question we ask for every single team that has played Alabama, especially in the back half of the season, ever since they've gotten that quarterback-designed run game going a little more. But we've seen teams put a quarterback spy on him. We've seen teams go double spy on him. Yeah. Georgia a little bit in the SEC championship game. Auburn rushed 2, dropped 9. I mean, granted, that was a 4th and 31 on the last play of the game. But Jalen Milroe has proven if you don't rush anybody and you just put spies in front of him to contain him, he will sit in the pocket and he can pick you apart, especially in the latter half of this season as he's continued to progress. To me, you have to rush him internally and not over-rush him on the exterior. Because if you over-rush him, he's going to find these lanes. And if he does find these running lanes, it's going to just be a long day for Michigan. So, how does that work out? And then to offset Michigan's pass rush, he needs to be accurate in the intermediate game. And then also, how will Tommy Rees call those quarterback design runs, Q power, Q draw, all the things we've talked about all season. On Alabama's side, can they force J.J. McCarthy to turn the football over? He has proven he'll throw the football right to your defenders for easy interceptions, but his arm strength is so incredible this year that a lot of times he gets away with those throws with lesser competition. I think J.J. McCarthy needs to play his best football game. This isn't like one of those Big Ten matchups late in the season where you can go on the road to Penn State and it's really cold and you can just dominate in the run game. I don't see either team being able to just have sustained drives, drive after drive, play after play in the run game. Both quarterbacks are going to have to make plays. And then the last one to me is how involved will Colston Loveland and the Michigan tight ends be? Mm-hmm. The All-American list just came out. Alabama has 3 on defense, 2 in the secondary. Kool-Aid McKinstry, Terrion Arnold. As great as Roman Wilson and some of these Michigan receivers are, they're going to have a tough time separating. I think Michigan can offset that with the tight end game, especially someone as talented as Colston Loveland. We've seen him be effective in the seam game, on the stick game, things like that, out and up, branch knot, all those sort of concepts that you look for with a great tight end. Michigan's going to need that plus an effective run game, plus J.J. McCarthy's best game.
Yeah, a couple things on what you said. I think one way to rush Jalen Milroe is to keep him off the field. I'm interested to see how Michigan plays the tempo game. Mm-hmm. When it comes to defending him, I think if you throw one thing at him, whether that's pressuring him more than you're not, or whether you're sitting back more than you're not, you're allowing him time to adjust. I think the way you contain Jalen Milroe, because I don't think you're going to stop him totally. The way you contain him is by giving him different looks, right? Overwhelming him with different pre-snap movements, the way the safeties are spinning mid-play, rushing him, not rushing him, bluffing, showing you're going to bluff, and, just mixing it up, giving him a mixed bag, because I think that slows him down a half step. Because if he's operating knowing what you're giving him, he can play at full speed.
Auburn did that in the second half.
Auburn did that. And Blaine, when we talk about the belief thing, believing is not, we went into this game, we're up 7-0, it's going good, we can win. It's what happens when you go out there and you're up 7-0, but they answer right back. Yeah. What happens if you go out there and you're down 7-0? People always ask, how can Auburn always play Alabama close when Alabama is obviously the superior team? It's because Auburn is not afraid of them because we live with them. You cannot be afraid of these guys going into the game. And they've given you a lot to be afraid of, right? Nick Saban and Alabama, when they walk in, it's a little bit of a different flavor of ice cream than when and Georgia's in the same boat, right? Yeah. So when you look at this matchup, what kind of stands out to you?
Well, Nick Saban's shadow looms a long way on the football field. And college football sits behind it. But my keys, and I agree with all the points you brought up, the first thing I'm looking at for Michigan, I'm going to look at linebacker play. We go back to the Georgia-Alabama game. Georgia's linebackers are young, and all the motion and all the eye candy that Alabama does in the backfield with Milroe, it matters. So I'm looking at Michael Burton. I'm looking at Colston. I believe both are older guys. Can they be disciplined and make the plays they have to make at the linebacker position? I know rushing Jalen Milroe is always something you worry about, but another thing adding that, how you rush him is how you get him onto the ground. No one has been able to tackle this guy yet, realistically, especially in the backfield. I think Georgia did somewhat of a pretty good job of it, but you see what he can do in space. The next thing I flip to the other side is Alabama, and it's kind of on a different little slate here. I think you have to have Michigan respect your run game. I really do. I think you have to at least make Michigan respect your run game because it opens up things for Milroe in the backfield when it comes to passing. You find one-on-one coverages with your big playmakers and Isaiah Bond and Burton. So if you can do that, I'm not saying you have to run the ball 30 times, but you need to at least have over 100 yards rushing in this game between your running backs and your quarterback. Then Michigan, the final thing is, can you stop big plays and can you hit big plays? It is tough to go 13, 14, 15 plays against this Alabama defense. You saw Georgia somewhat do it a little bit, and that's one of the best offensive lines in the nation. It's tough to push these guys 3 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards, like we're seeing Michigan usually do. It's a tough thing to do. So can you limit big plays? Can you hit big plays? That's my keys to this football game.
Yeah, and you brought up J.J. McCarthy. I think there's such a fine balance between being aggressive enough to hit big plays against Alabama, but not forcing it.
Yes.
Knowing when to say when. There's been times here recently where he's forced it because I think he thinks he can get away with it.
Yeah.
You can't go into this Alabama game if you're J.J. McCarthy and say, oh, my God, I'm so scared to turn the ball over that I'm not going to take any chances. I'm not going to push the ball down the field. I'm not going to try and make the great throws. But in saying that, sometimes it's good to throw the check down. Sometimes it's good to throw the ball away. Sometimes, escaping and getting 3 yards to get in 2nd and 7 instead of trying to fit it in that window in between the safety and the corner when you really don't have it. That's what I think this game's going to come down to.
I agree.
It's such a small margin for error, David.
I agree with you. And I think with all that's gone on off the field with this Michigan team, I do think that they're going to go in fairly fearless. J.J. McCarthy's not going to go in scared. Certainly, Sharon Moore, the offensive coordinator, and Jim Harbaugh, they aren't going to go in scared to let J.J. McCarthy go have big moments and have a chance to have a big game, which I think he's going to need. Here's the biggest thing from my perspective as someone who's obviously followed this program very closely since I played there. Michigan has had to invest so much time and energy into beating the Buckeyes these last 3 years. Because after 8 straight losses, you can't participate in, forget the college football playoff, you can't even go be in the conference championship unless you figure out a way to beat the Buckeyes, who had been the gold standard. Well, they finally did that 2 years ago, and Georgia was coming off a loss in the SEC championship game where they thought they could beat Alabama. That month-long leadoff, we should have just seen it coming. Like, Georgia was unbeatable that year. Last year, Michigan figures out a way to beat the Buckeyes again. They match up. They get the easiest matchup in TCU. I think they looked ahead of them, and plus TCU was better than we gave them credit for. Had a lot of playmakers who are playing in the NFL now. You turn around, all of a sudden you lost the football game, and they go play in the national championship. Now's the year where it's like, okay, we focus so much attention on beating them. This is 3 years in a row now. Now the next hump is what you're talking about, the Alabamas or the Georgias or the SEC, whoever they throw at us, right? It's time to deliver in the postseason. I think Michigan is very well aware of that.
Well, I think Ohio State's a false summit now for Michigan. That's not getting to the top anymore, like you brought up. I think it's a national championship now. And that's the way Alabama views it. That's the way Georgia views it. And I think that's you got over the Ohio State hump because you believed you were going to get over the Ohio State hump. Now when you go in that game, the question to me is not, is Michigan going to win? It's how are they going to win? Or how is Ohio State going to lose it? The last thing, and we want to know what you think. The phone line is going to open up 7:15 a.m. Central. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. If you donate in the chat, we ask that question first, especially if it's over $5. David, I just really hope that Michigan, and I don't think it will be, I really hope Michigan's playing, because I want a great game. That's what I want. If we're going to leave Florida State out, damn it, we better have a really good game. I hope Michigan doesn't go in there trying to wait Alabama out, because I don't think they can do it. If they try and play close to the vest, and it may be close for a while, but eventually Jalen Monroe is going to get you. They're going to hit a couple big plays. Whether it's Jermaine Burton down the field, whether it's Bond down the field, whether it's Jalen Monroe taking off, whether it's the run game soften you up, whether it's an RPO, Alabama's going to hit a big play eventually. I just don't think Michigan go in there and say, we're going to pound Blake Corum only in between the C gaps, the C and A gaps. We're going to protect J.J. McCarthy. You got to let it ride now. You're in year 3 with J.J. McCarthy.
True.
You've got to let, and again, it's that balance, just like a quarterback from a play calling standpoint, between letting the big dog eat and not being stupid. There is a balance in that. I just hope that Michigan goes into this game, because I know Alabama will. Tommy Rees, I think, is going to go in this thing aggressive. I think they're going to move Jalen Monroe a lot. I think they're going to watch the Maryland tape with Little Tua, what they did against Michigan, and take a little bit away from that, which I think that's kind of a decent barometer, because Michigan hadn't faced a lot of guys that can do what Little Tua and Jalen can do. I just hope Michigan goes into it with an aggressive mindset off it.
I hope so, too. There's also a balance between waiting an opponent out and not abandoning the run game.
That's true.
I don't think Michigan will abandon the run game. Yes, you may see a 3-and-out or a couple 3-and-outs, but you can't have a bunch of them, right? Like, and Michigan certainly is not going to abandon the run game down the stretch.
And I'm not saying that.
We've seen teams be able to run on Alabama.
We have.
We have seen it this year. Like, even if Alabama, I know Alabama's in the playoffs, but this is one of Alabama's great.
Well, what teams have been able to run against Alabama? It's the same ones that can run against Georgia. It's the teams with quarterbacks that can run. When Kentucky wants to sit there and run power at you the whole game in between the box with no quarterback threat, I'm not worried about that.
And that
just like I wasn't worried about
more
Penn
like
State.
that than they are Auburn, right? Like, Auburn does so much laterally.
For sure. And you have a quarterback that can run.
Is Michigan going to do that? That's my question. Or are they just going to try and play bully ball? Which, look, again, this is one of the least elite Alabama teams that we've seen make the playoff. Like you said, keyword still being elite.
Yeah.
Maybe Michigan thinks like, no, this is actually our time to go play bully ball with Alabama. Again, it's a dangerous strategy because very few beat them at that. The teams that beat them are the ones with elite quarterbacks, Deshaun Watson, like the Trevor Lawrence types, Joe Burrow types. So you got to unleash J.J. McCarthy.
Well, Michigan has allowed teams to beat themselves before Michigan decided to beat them. I'm very interested in this game with Alabama because we've seen Alabama beat themselves before. So that's what I'm saying. It's a mix. How are the penalties going? What's the turnover situation? So we want to know what you think. Should be very, very interesting. There's a lot of great bets out there, a lot of great props. If you have skin in the game like we do, it's obviously important that you know what's going on. But speaking about skin in the game, skin's the biggest organ in the body, right? It's the largest organ in your game. So you got to take care of it. Whether male or female, our friends over at Genucel Skincare, they do an incredible job. They dropped the bag on us. Christmas came early this year. They sent down a ton of products. We got to meet with their team as well. Just great people. It's a great product. Everyone in our office loves it. PJ, we take it home. My wife loves it as well. And right now, every order today can be instantly upgraded to free express shipping. They have their most popular package at a special discount just for our listeners at Genucel.com/booster. You get this great discount. Like I said, every order today is instantly upgraded to free express shipping. That's Genucel.com/booster today. So whether you got fine lines, you got a sagging jawline, you've got skin redness, forehead wrinkles, it takes care of all of it, male or female, and it is a heck of a gift. So head over to Genucel. Use that promo code as well. We really appreciate the Booster Club selling them out. Seems like every time we bring them on, they sell them out. And please do, because it's a great product run by great people. Speaking about great products, go buy a hoodie. We got Lady Ballers merch that's coming out here shortly. But make sure you go buy a Crane & Company hoodie. We're going to put the link right now in the chat. That helps out the show more than you guys know. But speaking about helping out the show, Let's get to the Booster Club.
All right, what's up, Chad? Hit that like and subscribe button. Let's get it going today. Get those feet chopping. We're going to start off with national champions. What's up, brother? He says Michigan is overrated. Has been overrated all season. Alabama is going to expose them in the playoffs.
Well, again, if we're talking about overrated, the thing I've said all year is people are like, oh, well, we don't know about this Michigan team. They haven't played the best schedule. Well, I do know about this Michigan team because I've watched the same core of guys play for the last 2 years. Like a lot of these guys up front have been around for a while. J.J. McCarthy's been around for a while. Roman Wilson, Blake Corum. I can go down the list. Donovan Edwards. We know who these guys are. They've played in these big games. If you're saying they're overrated because you don't think that they're good enough to be able to win one of these big games against a Georgia or an Alabama, maybe I can buy that because we haven't seen it yet. But calling them overrated because of what they did during the regular season, I disagree with you.
It seems a little insane to say that, or to say they're not a good football team, because all of the pieces that you talked about, they also were a top team in the transfer portal.
Very true.
This past season. But there is something to that trust factor. Going back to that, like, can Michigan actually put together a performance in a big game in the postseason to win one of these playoff games?
Just look at all the NFL talent running around on that football team. I don't know how you're overrated. Let's go to Rural Eagle. What's up, brother? He says, if Michigan can contain Jermaine Burton and limit Isaiah Bond to not big plays, I think Michigan can pull off the win.
Well, I'm not worried about Jermaine Burton. If I'm Michigan's secondary, I am way more worried about what happens when the play breaks down than Alabama going out there and just beating me with their skill position players on the outside. Like, if we're able to sit here and run our coverages and get to our depth and make sure that we're taking care of what we need to do in an alignment from a motion standpoint, I don't think they're going to go out there and just start cooking Michigan because they're better than they are. What happens when Jalen Milroe makes that first blitzer miss and gets outside of the pocket and the play breaks down? What happens when it's 3rd and 8 and you're running 2-man and you're stunning the front and Jalen Milroe gets out of it and everybody's back is turned in man and he takes off? That's what would worry me, because that's who Alabama really is. Alabama is not a methodical, like Georgia team, where they're just going to be consumed with their identity. They're not going to improvise. You're not going to see anything out of the ordinary. You're going to get what you expect, and they're just better than you are at it. That's not who this Alabama team is. This Alabama team is way more Jackson Pollock than they are Andy Warhol, and that would scare the hell out of me.
All right, let's go to Eddie. What's up, brother? He says the power run game is going to be much more effective against Bama than the zone/read scheme run.
See, I disagree with that. I'm on the exact opposite. Not that Michigan won't have success running power or counter or trucks or any of the gap scheme runs, but where it seems like Alabama, and this is where you should struggle, is when you have that lateral movement with a quarterback that can keep the ball. Why? Just like in anything, the more places where it can hit, the more places you have to defend, the more spread thin you are. That's just how, if I know that the running back is getting the ball in the B gap, you can pull 2 guys, you can kick me, I can spill it, I can box it, whatever, I can contain that. But when things are moving laterally and it can hit in the B gap, or it could hit on the edge, or he could keep it and spit it out to a wide receiver, those are where the problems come in, because you can't double everybody. If I know that the run is going in the box, I can load up the box. That's great. I have to defend less territory. But with that lateral movement, with the zone read, with the RPO, it makes you defend more areas. Just like in war, just like in sports, just like in debates, the more areas I have to defend, the more spread thin that I am. The more fronts I'm having to fight you on, the least likely it is that I'm going to dominate you consistently. That's just, it's math.
I wonder if Michigan will try and answer Jalen Milroe's strengths by having a bigger package for Alex Orji in this game.
David, I think you're going to see the most, especially in the red zone, you're going to see the most intricate quarterback design run game. Not
even with bringing in another quarterback.
Even with bringing in with Orji. Well, Orji.
Penn State. We saw it against Penn State and the Buckeyes, but only in the second half.
Yeah, but see, to me, when Orji comes in, I know what's going on. Mm-hmm. I've got you're limiting what you can do from a throwing standpoint. Mm-hmm. I think it's with J.J. McCarthy. If I'm Michigan, I'm not abandoning totally who I am. I will try and get downhill. I will try and headbutt you with Blake Corum, but I am going to give you the full gambit with J.J. McCarthy. We're going to run him. We're going to play action him. We're going to RPO him. We're going to sprint out. We're going to roll out. We're going to boot. We're going to waggle. We're going to quarterback draw. We're going to Q power. We're going to Q counter. We're going to do everything. Mm-hmm. We're going to have more involved with Q than James Bond.
Yeah.
Like that's what I think you got to do.
Run Q power with J.J. McCarthy to set up play action pop pass with Alex Orji. That's how you start to win football games.
Look, you got to give them a little bit of everything. I want it to be the Cheesecake Factory menu. There's a little bit of everything on there.
All right, let's go to UT. He says Harbaugh said Alex Orji looked like Herschel Walker at quarterback. Says Michigan needs to use him like Florida used Tebow.
Alex Orji looks nothing like Herschel Walker.
I can't speak to
I don't care if he's at quarterback or walks in the grocery store.
If he runs like him, that'd be great, though.
Yeah, that's a good point.
All right, let's go to Broken Devil Dog with a $2 donation. Appreciate it, brother. He says, guess who's going to the Rose Bowl this year? This guy, #Go Blue.
Wow. Nice. That'll be fun.
Man, congrats.
All right, one more.
Let's go to Chris Wall. What's up, Chris? #Guys Crane & Co. Did Kentucky finally listen to Mark Stoops about spending money? They're crushing in the transfer portal, right? Meow.
Yeah, well, keeping Mark Stoops is big. I know they didn't have the best year. They're doing well. I like South Carolina picking up Rocket Sanders from Arkansas. That should be interesting. If you didn't see yesterday, Kyle McCord has decided to move on from Nebraska. He's not going to Nebraska. He's decided to move on from Nebraska.
Wow.
It's going to be interesting to see with Matt Rule there. Obviously, Dylan Raiola with signing day coming up, seeing if they can.
Has he officially flipped his commitment?
I have not seen that he's officially flipped. Somebody may be able to correct me in the chat. But I did not see where he officially flipped. I did see where Kyle
Nebraska fans
had moved on. Maalik Murphy is obviously in the transfer portal now. My question is, if Texas wins it, does Maalik Murphy get a ring? Like if you hop in the
No,
now?
you do not.
You hop in the transfer portal before
you do not get a ring.
Get a
you
ring
are
doorbell.
shunned from this program.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's get to a little rapid fire here, Dave.
All right, let's go rapid fire. I want to start with the NFL game tonight. We got Chargers at the Raiders. Obviously, Justin Herbert having season-ending injury. Easton Stick's going to start.
What a name.
I don't believe that's a real person.
What a name. This kid just sounds like he's batting
385.
20 plus.
Yeah, why are you not playing baseball?
I don't know.
Your name's Easton.
Easton Stick.
Yeah.
And the Raiders coming off that, 3-0.
Woo, barn burner, baby.
NFL sucks this year. I'm sorry.
It is. Like, the NFL has been mediocre.
It sucks. It's bad. Like, and I love football more than, and I'll watch it because I love football. I love the game. But let's be honest. This NFL season has been flaming garbage.
What do you think the reason for that is?
I think, a lot of it is there's been a lot of injuries at the quarterback position. Yeah. I think we can say that. I think you have a lot of teams in flux right now. But, man, I'm going to be honest with you. I think a lot of it, I think some of the rule changes have just watered it down to the point where not where the game's unrecognizable. I mean, you see guys making incredible plays, but you can't hit anybody anymore, right? It's the game's dominated by the officials. There's a flag every other play, it seems like. I don't know, man. It's just the storylines aren't as great. That seems like there's not as many guys to root for, right? In the NFL, but the play on the field has just been. It's been how many times have we sat here on Thursday Night Football and been like, this matchup sucks?
And some of the great matchups that we have gotten, those ended up being blowouts, which it's not the NFL's fault. It's just the way it shakes out. What do you think?
It's been one of those years.
I don't know. It's just subpar football teams. I mean, just the separation of the ones at the top, the ones in the middle, the ones at the bottom is just bad. I mean, the only cool thing about the NFL this year has been the Texans.
It's really true.
It's hard for me not to turn on and just watch the Texans.
And who'd they lose to?
They got killed by the Jets.
They lost to the Panthers.
Yeah, they lost to the Panthers.
Like, you can't make this stuff up. No. It's crazy. All right, let's move on. I want to talk about this Draymond Green situation.
Yeah.
Draymond Green has been suspended indefinitely by the NBA for this latest altercation. I want to get to you in a second, but you have a really good theory on this when you talk about the old school 80s basketball.
For sure. Let's go ahead. Can we go ahead and play and roll this video first? Draymond's been suspended indefinitely by the NFL. This is against the Suns the other night. Let's go ahead and play it.
Oh man! Come on,
that's going to be a flagrant.
Yeah.
Try to decide.
I don't know if he got suspended by the NFL. He might have got suspended by the NFL.
By the NBA.
By the NFL.
Yeah, no, you can't do that in the NFL.
He probably caught a fine.
The UFC just suspended.
Yeah, no, like in the NFL, they put you in jail for that.
Yeah.
Especially if it's against a quarterback.
Is in hiding.
Here's where I'm at on Draymond. What I do get tired about is people complaining about how great the NBA used to be because of the physicality. Then they come on here and say, just trash Draymond Green.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do think there is some nuance to this. I think back in the 80s and 90s when NBA players would fight, it wasn't because of cheap shots. Like, they were going up straight in each other's face.
Yes.
Like, Lambeer, all these guys, like, they're bringing it to your front door. Which, you know what? At the end of the day, Some of my best friends are guys I've gotten in fights with. Like, it happens, especially at a high level like this. But it was to your face. I think Draymond's problem is he just sneaks people. Like, they're cheap shots. Like, they're cowardly shots. He's kicking people in the groin. He's back-fisting Nurkic right here. If Draymond Green, like, at least when he punched Jordan Poole in the face, he walked up to his face.
That's Jordan Poole,
and then punched him.
And that's your teammate.
That's your teammate. But you know what? I can come to terms with that a lot better than you just hitting people when they're not looking or kicking Steven Adams in the groin. If Draymond Green would have go about this a different way, I think more people would be like, yeah, he's a villain in the NBA, but he's a villain we miss. It's one thing when the Joker and Batman fight straight up. It's another one when the Joker plants a bomb in the hospital and runs away and nobody can stop it. Like, it just, Draymond, to me, make it less cheap, man, and I can be more with it. But I understand the NBA suspended him indefinitely. You don't want to listen, right? You don't want to listen, so you're suspended indefinitely. We'll see how long it lasts.
I think the last, 3 times with him has been in the last, 3 months. You go back to him choking Rudy Gobert
From behind.
Yeah, from behind, which we can all be honest, which was hilarious if you want.
It was funny.
Watching a 7-footer get choked out is just some funny thing you can do. But, with Draymond Green, it's just another thing to his table. I always thought with Draymond, and I'm all for being an enforcer for your team, being the guy who comes out and stands up for everybody. But you go back to his career, like he did this in 2016 in the finals, and it cost him that finals. He was out for a game, and they lost that game. And some say, it did cost him that finals. This is another clown move from Draymond Green. I agree with what Jake said. It's different back in the day if you walk up, and I'm all for fighting in sports. Trust me, I advocate it.
Like just fouling somebody straight up and standing over.
I advocate it a lot. If you want, I think hockey does a great job of it. We're going to meet where we need to meet, and we'll settle this like men. Yep. Because hitting somebody when they're preparing to be hit is a lot safer than this hitting somebody who doesn't know it's coming.
Yeah.
You can do real damage to somebody, and when you sneak them like this is what it was. Draymond Guy is the guy who walks around the party, wait for his friends to get him with somebody so he can go sneak somebody and then not hit anybody for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
That's who he is. I've seen these guys before. So indefinitely, I thought it was going to be 25 games, to be honest, because of just the reoccurring problem that he has. But indefinitely, I can see why. And this isn't good for this stuff's not good for the game.
No. And it's the difference between when you're, and again, you're about to have your third child. I don't have one yet. But I think eventually timeout doesn't work. I think the NBA put Draymond Green in timeout and way more than he should have. Now they're going to spank you.
You have a babysitter, a head coach who nobody respects, who's nobody's going to listen to. Steve Kerr's a teacher where you go to class and you can do whatever you want. That's what it is.
Look, I'm no Draymond Green fan, never been a fan of the way he goes about his business, and it has nothing to do with the fact he went to Michigan State, all right?
Sure, David.
But I will say, man, you got to give the guy props because he has been the enforcer, like the physical enforcer on what really has been the greatest dynasty in the NBA over, the last decade or closest thing.
But can we call him an enforcer, though, when you're kicking people in the balls when they're not looking? Like, is that an enforcer or are you just a coward?
Maybe, but here's where it would be a bigger problem for me. If this guy were just bouncing around from team to team every year on a 1-year contract and he's doing this kind of stuff, you're like, why is this guy still in the NBA? Somehow the Warriors have kept this guy on the team, and like championship after championship. There is something to be said for that, even though every time I watch him do stuff like this, I think, how is this guy still around the league?
But it's evolved into like now it's like with Dennis Rodman. Like, it was amazing when Dennis Rodman's out there getting in fights and going face-to-face with guys and they're throwing elbows and he's reacting with an elbow. People would love that. You know when they didn't love Dennis Rodman, outside of him wearing a wedding dress and doing that crazy stuff, is when he kicked the photographer in the groin.
True. When
he landed on. People don't like that. That doesn't earn respect from people.
Yeah, you don't get fans from doing
that. I don't think you do.
Do you think he has been, like, on a team where you have the, like, great shooters, right? Like, that's really what drives the Warriors.
Being the opposite end, the yin to the yang. I get that, but there's a way, there's a way to do it.
Sure.
There's a way to do it. I'm not going to run. We get in a fight at football practice. I'm not running over in another drill when somebody's not looking and hitting them with my helmet. If we're going to fight during inside drill, me and your ass going to fight during inside drill. Like,
Well,
it's going to be me and you. That's the best part about football. You can line up on the board and
figure it out. We'll see how long indefinitely means.
Yeah.
Let's move back to college football here. So the Florida Attorney General, Ashley Moody, announced Tuesday that she is launching an investigation into the College Football Playoff Selection Committee over the decision to leave Florida State out of the top four. She says, I'm a lifelong Gator, but I'm also the Florida Attorney General, and I know injustice when I see it. Is all of this futile?
Oh, it's the easiest win for politicians ever. If you're in Florida, if you're running for anything in the state of Florida and you want to be like, listen, I may have graduated from Florida or I may have went to Florida A&M, but we love all our institutions here in Florida, so vote for me. You got to do this. You're not going to win. What do you think? They're going to like get the letter and be like, wait a minute, Boo Corrigan's going to be like, emergency meeting. Emergency meeting, guys. Alabama's now in. Oh. What I wish would happen is you'd have a bunch of, and I hate when the government gets involved in college football, but if you had a bunch of people from around the country saying, listen, let's make it a 16 playoff. Have a play-in game. Let's add a game to it, right? And figure it out. I would love that. I think you'd be more on board. People would be more on board with that. But that's not what's happening here. It's an easy way to get votes. It's smart by Ron DeSantis. It's smart by Rick Scott. It's smart by Ashley Moody. If you are running for any office anywhere in the state of Florida, you know that there's Florida State fans, there's Florida fans, there's Miami fans. Mm-hmm. You need to be able to appease all of them because all those votes count. You lose nothing by being the Florida Attorney General and advocating for Florida State here. Now, what would have been interesting is if Florida State would have been left out for Florida, or if Miami would have been left out for Florida State. You wouldn't see this.
No, you can't say
You wouldn't see any of this now, but it's Florida versus it's smart.
Yeah.
But you invite them all to your governor's house.
That's exactly right.
You need to invite them too. It's a 2-0 fastball for DeSantis right here.
I love it. All right, let's talk a little NHL, man. Look, Vegas Golden Knights, 20-5 right now, leading the Pacific Division.
Expansion team.
Maple Leafs 15-6, third in the Atlantic. Who are you guys liking right now? How are your Flyers doing over there?
Hey, not terrible. We're excited. We're third in the Metropolitan right now in the Eastern Conference. Excited. A lot of overtime loss for the Preds hurt.
The Peds?
The Preds hurt. I don't want to hear it. You said NFL a second ago. But we're excited. 12.5 against Kirk. The winnings are rolling in. We're young and feisty.
How are the Predators doing?
Predators
mediocre.
Not horrible. 16-13 right now. They are fourth in the Central.
All right, I'll do it.
You're going.
Hit it. This reminds me of Death of Stalin. He's like, play better.
New Jersey Devils kind of taking a little bit of a step back. I mean, the Metropolitan is really competitive right now, other than the Columbus.
Look, we know the NHL season's like the regular season.
Yeah,
like
but it's still Bruins,
season.
Rangers, Avalanche.
Yeah, you're gonna get.
Yeah, it's the usual suspects.
Rangers looking.
I'm glad the Leafs made it out of the first round.
Islanders up there.
Yeah, we'll see. Holler at me in a couple months. But I just love the way the NHL does the expansion teams. It's brilliant. Like, hey, we got a new team. Get all the good players. Everybody will get really excited about the place where we have it. Y'all win a championship. Then they don't care for the next 20 years if you win one or not. People are excited because, hey, you remember that time we won one.
It was like when Nashville was an expansion team. They went to the finals early.
By the way, did you see, I meant to ask Shapiro about this the other day. Did you see where the White Sox people are met with the Nashville people about maybe possibly?
No, you were telling me about that.
Let that happen. Listen, I'm a Braves fan, number one.
Yeah.
All right, but you put a Major League Baseball team in the city I live in, we can make something shake.
Look, we've seen they'll both run from the Braves as quick as.
Well, hold on. I've never run from the Braves. I've never run from the Braves.
We've already said Cone do it.
No.
Cone will move here, and Jake will be a fan of the team.
I'll be a fan of the team here, but not first.
How David's finger doesn't burst into flames when you touch it.
I didn't run from the Braves. Don't make false statements over here. Don't CNN me.
Hey, you're a Nashville guy.
Yeah. Okay. Caitlin Scott, whatever that chick's name is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Caitlin. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Anyways, see, now you got me all flustered. I want to talk about something that makes me happy now.
Do it.
Good food.
Yeah.
Guess who has good food? Good Ranchers. They should be called Great Ranchers, but we're still working on it. This Christmas, also, they have a great deal for you. If you do the Christmas ham thing, you can get a spiral cut heritage pork masterpiece from Good Ranchers. It's the kind of ham that'll go ham at your family gathering. I actually made that up. That's not the read. And you get it for free with any Good Ranchers subscription. All right, it's a $99 value that you get for free in your first order. What is Good Ranchers? It's an American-sourced meat delivery company that's the best out. I will put them up against anybody. Michigan, Bama, Georgia, doesn't matter. Give me Good Ranchers. Chicken, steak, seafood. We had chicken last night. My wife's cooked chicken in ways I didn't even know existed. that's been fantastic.
Marry Me Chicken?
Marry Me Chicken.
I do.
Divorce Me Chicken, which wait till you have that.
I don't want that one.
Yeah, I don't know if you're ready for that. It's way better than Nutella and sardines, though. So head on over to goodranchers.com and subscribe today with our code BOOSTER, that's BOOSTER, to claim your free limited stock holiday ham before they sell out. But you better act fast because this offer won't last forever. And Christmas, bud, it's a coming. What's today, the 13th? We got 12 days.
The 14th.
I can start eating chocolate out of that little Santa calendar thing. You put them chocolates in. Reed gets so mad at me. Head to goodranchers.com and use code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, when you subscribe to get your free 10-pound holiday ham. Don't settle for the same old holiday fare. Elevate your feast with Good Ranchers this year. Good Ranchers, American meat delivered. Go check that out, goodranchers.com. Use that code BOOSTER. Get that free ham. Some green eggs, too. All right, before we get to a little... Hey, do you want to talk about Juwan Howard for a second, though? The Draymond Green of coaches?
Yeah, I was trying to find an update on that. It sounded like there were rumors
going on?
There were rumors going around that Juwan Howard was going to be fired as Michigan basketball coach. It looks like right now, at least, that's not the case. The way I understand it is that his son, Jace Howard, did something.
Got an argument with
yelling at a trainer or something. And the longtime strength and conditioning coach on the basketball program went up and said something about, well, that's an example of what's wrong with our culture here or something right now. Juwan heard it, came up, got in his face. Did it turn physical? I don't know. Was there any punches thrown? Wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know. And next thing you know, there's more scandal at Michigan.
Dude, what is up with this guy?
I don't know.
Does Juwan Howard need to start a fight club or something?
I think he does need to start a fight club. Like,
why are you yelling at a trainer?
But like after you slapped an opposing coach on TV and basically just got a slap on the wrist, isn't that kind of like telling you, hey, I can do what I want?
Of course.
Like they say he's on a zero tolerance policy right now or something. But what does that mean?
Well, I mean, if this is true, then
we just saw tolerance.
Yeah, y'all are tolerating a lot right now.
You slapped a coach on national.
I still can't believe that. We watched Bob Knight like throw chairs and go nuts. And people are like, man, he's insane. We watch Eric Musselman get thrown out of games, go nuts. They're like, he's insane. Juwan Howard slapped another coach live.
Juwan Howard
during a high-level college basketball game. Yeah.
Assaulted.
Wasn't it Wisconsin's coach? A Wisconsin coach?
Yeah. And missed fewer games than Jim Harbaugh.
Can you imagine?
The silliest stuff.
If Jim Harbaugh would have just slapped Ryan Day.
Oh, no.
Can you imagine?
They would take him. They would put him in jail.
Yeah, he's in Azkaban.
They would bury him under Azkaban right now.
I could guess why he's not fired. Yeah. But, I mean, I think you can make an educated guess. I just don't know how you survive that. All right, we got the phone lines opening up. Let's see. They are actually opening up in 4 minutes. We're going to try and get to as many calls as possible. So if you call in and it's on hold, when we answer a call, we've had a lot of new people try and call in. They say the line's busy, which is a good thing. But it opens up when we take a call. But let's go ahead in the Booster Club real quick.
Let's go to Steven. What's up, Stevie? Does this keep Draymond Green out of the Hall of Fame?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it would take something, like betting.
Speaking of assault.
Pete Rose.
That was assault.
Yeah, that's assault, brother.
That's assault, brother. That's sort of the definition of it. Let's go to Q-Smo Jimbo, $10 dono. Thank you for your money, sir. There have been a total of 53 starting QBs across the NFL this season, despite the current rules benefiting offenses and QBs. What specific changes should the NFL make to improve play for next season?
Well, again, if you look at it, to me, I watch the game different than other people might. So, in my opinion, I think not being able to touch a wide receiver after 5 yards is absolute trash. It's such a ridiculous rule. It's such a stupid, ridiculous rule. It's like in basketball when they're like, you can't freedom of movement. Well, it's not holding. I'm talking about just being able to touch someone. It's such an awful rule. You got to hit the quarterback in a window that's like this big.
Hand fight.
Is true.
Look,
in this.
Hand fighting should be legal.
That's all I'm advocating for. I'm not saying you should be able to poom-pah slam the wide receiver when he's breaking out of an out.
This is hand fighting for Jay.
Don't grab my jersey.
I don't want to hear anything from you.
Don't grab me coming out of a break.
But it seems like there's a flag every single play, and then when there's a flag, there's a review for the flag, and then there's a review for the review, and then it's Pfizer commercial, and then it just, to me, I feel like you can't hit anybody anymore. You can't defensively. I think I watch the game different than other people. You say, people want points. That'll bring more eyeballs. Well, if that was the case, then why is every offense not doing better? But like if that's the truth, I don't know. It's a rough watch for me.
All right, let's go to Ozoki Andrew. What's up, brother? Draymond Green is the Vontaze Burfict of the NBA. He's a repeat offender, and it needs to stop. If you don't remember who Vontaze Burfict is, Vontaze Burfict would murder.
I think Vontaze Burfict may be like 30% responsible for Antonio
Brown. That's an AB hit.
Like people forget that hit. Like I think that turned Antonio Brown to a different person. I think he knocked him into a different person.
That's funny bringing up the Steelers because I'm pretty sure was it the 2010 Steelers? Those Steelers and Ravens team in that era were the reasons we're starting to see these rules.
That's true.
In the NFL. They were killing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, dude, you
James
throw the
Harrison,
Bengals in there too. Though.
Ryan Clark.
That was like their best.
Ray Lewis. Like Ed, like these guys were killing.
Terrell Suggs.
Like we were murdering people. And that's when whatever his name.
I still think Terrell Suggs is the one
got
who
on the
killed.
phone and was like, this isn't good for football. They were killing.
Yeah, I still think Terrell Suggs is like the reason Leonidas and them got beat. In 300. Like, prove me wrong. I think they sent Terrell Suggs, the Immortals. Xerxes Army's one guy is Terrell Suggs.
Let's go to the Pennsylvanian with a $5 donation. I'm going to give your cookies here. Did Blaine and David buy Jake dinner yet for correctly predicting that my Pitt Panthers would have an awful season and miss out on a bowl game? I don't think I have to buy this man dinner.
Yeah. I know, but I
Congrats.
Yes, hey, so when am I getting that dinner? That's why I laugh. I predicted, when you're trying to predict every single Power 5 team, like you're going to get some right and some wrong. I was more surprised. I caught more hell for predicting Pitt to go 3-9 than I did for predicting South Carolina to go 5-7. I did not know there were that many Pitt football fans. I thought it was Dan Marino and like 35 other guys that were like Pitt football fans. I caught more hell in my DMs. What, you don't know what you're talking about? You don't know anything about Narduzzi, whatever. Well, like Major Payne said, who's the dummy now?
What are they saying to you now?
Nothing. It's amazing. All the it's stuff after Pitt when they were like 2-6 or something like that. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden the apology.
I remember the day. I remember the day when it kind of came in and flooded in the chat.
You also caught a lot of flack last season for your Florida prediction.
Yeah,
having a losing record.
Yeah,
that one hit too.
That one I thought that people were going to start showing up at my house.
Yeah.
You ever been to Florida? I love Florida. Love our people down in Florida, but Florida, there's some crazy stuff goes on down there.
Let's go to Michael H. #Ask Flaming, but I'm going to ask the crew. What QB in the portal should Auburn target?
Well,
all of them.
Well, I think you've got to go get a guy that you think's better than Peyton Thorne. If you can get Maalik Murphy that fits your system, that can run and throw, I just don't think Peyton Thorne throws it well enough, even with talented wide receivers that you're bringing in, to be able to win the SEC. I think he can win 8-9 games, right? I think he can beat the teams he's supposed to beat, but I don't think he's good enough to be able to elevate you to the top consistently. So Cam Ward would be one. Will Howard would be one. Maalik Murphy, I think, would be one. If you're Auburn, I don't think you go get a guy just to go get a guy. I think you go get a guy that is better, because what you don't want to do is bring in somebody that's worse, and you always want to create competition, but you want to create the right kind of competition. Mm-hmm. You don't want to just bring in somebody that's inferior, and we all know who's going to win the job. What does Robbie Ashford do with his eligibility situation? So if you can go get somebody that's better, you go get them. But don't go get somebody and don't go spend that money just to go get somebody and to spend that money.
Well, that's a good segue to the quarterbacks in the transfer portal now. And one update here. Remember, in August, the NCAA announced stricter rules for athletes transferring as an undergrad for the second time.
Yeah, I saw this.
Well, yesterday, Judge John P. Bailey from West Virginia issued a 14-day temporary restraining order prohibiting the NCAA from enforcing its transfer waiver rules. So while I've been really hard on the NCAA for some of the lack of leadership that we've seen over the last few years, it does put them in a tough spot where every single time they come up and try and do something to help fix college athletics, it's just undone by Supreme Court.
Why do we keep taking rules away from something that doesn't have enough rules? And I'm a free market, non-regulation, non-bureaucratic, non-red tape type of guy, but there are situations when you release things like the transfer portal and the NIL where you need to have guardrails, and instead of, and I know it's hard to put Pandora back in the box. I don't know if you can.
Yeah.
Right, by adding rules.
That's why
but
Congress
I
is
for
trying to
damn
act.
sure know we shouldn't be taking guidelines away.
That's why Congress is trying to act. We got Ted Cruz and Tommy Tuberville, and we're going to keep track of all that. But in the meantime, like you said, Maalik Murphy, Texas backup quarterback, has entered the transfer portal. Not too surprising. We've been talking about it all season. What's going to happen there if Quinn Ewers does come back, which is looking likely, and you have Arch Manning? What's going to happen with Maalik?
Do you remember what I said before the season about Arch Manning and Maalik Murphy? That I think Quinn Ewers, the plan was, and I think it's changed now because I think Quinn's coming back. The plan was Quinn Ewers balls this year, goes to the NFL. Arch Manning is your starting quarterback going in the SEC at Texas, storyline, narrative, all that stuff. Maalik Murphy gets pissed, transfers to another SEC team that he knows is going to play Texas, and balls out. It's kind of happening.
You think Quinn's going?
Like I thought. I think Quinn's coming back.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
but I think Arch is going to stay.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to be pushed back a year, and Malik's going to be the odd man out. But my whole point was Maalik Murphy, I think, is going to want to stay in the SEC to be able to show Texas, hey, wait a minute. I don't get the respect that Arch is already getting. Arch hasn't done anything. I helped us beat Kansas State. I helped us do this. Now I'm not going to get a shot. Well, now I'm going to go to a place that can hurt you. If I'm Mike Elko, if I am Mike Elko in Texas A&M, I take a little note out of Rascal Flats. All right? What hurts the most is being so close. Maalik Murphy goes to A&M in the SEC. You know,
that's
ugly stepsister of Texas.
Oh, you got Connor
Maalik Murphy, it's personal. It's personal. If I'm Mike Elko, Connor Wegman's done nothing for me personally. I don't owe Connor Wegman a damn thing. I owe the Texas A&M fan base the best quarterback.
Well, it'd be great to bring Maalik Murphy in if you knew Connor Wegman would stay. Would you risk doing that if you knew Connor Wegman would leave after the way he played?
Well, look, if you don't want to stay and compete, get your ass out of here. I think Mike Elko's that type of guy. I don't think Mike Elko's please, what can I do for you? Do you want some marmalade? Oh, you don't like grape jelly? Let me get you some strawberry jam. No, you want to either stay and compete or we'll call your parents, we'll put your stuff outside the field house, and they can come and pick you up, and we'll shake hands and be friends forever. But that's not how we're doing things here. And by the way, take the stairs.
So where should Maalik Murphy go?
Hopefully Auburn.
I wouldn't be pissed.
Yeah, I can understand. Look, if you're A&M, I think you have a set guy. Everybody just gassing Wegman up the entire year. Best quarterback in the SEC.
Good player.
Best quarterback. So I don't know if you need to bring anybody in if you're A&M. Don't you think if you're Mike Elko, well, this kid has proved that he was a starter last year, even when you get hurt. I understand competition, but if I'm Maalik and I'm leaving Texas, I don't want to go even just have a guy who I even have a chance to sit behind. If I'm leaving, I don't want to go to the same situation, right? I'm going to at A&M. If anything, I want to go somewhere I know I can come in and play.
Well, again, look at the system. I mean, who did Texas A&M hire as offensive coordinator? Colin Klein. Who is Colin Klein? He's from Kansas State. What does Kansas State do a really good job of? Utilizing the quarterback run game. So is the system that he's going to run at A&M more for Connor Wegman in a pro-style system that we saw from Jimbo Fisher and Bobby Petrino? Or is it we need a quarterback that can run? Give me Maalik Murphy. Not that Wegman can't run, but do you trust Wegman to run as well as Maalik Murphy? I would love to see that competition, but I would love to see him.
Speaking about Bobby Petrino, what about Arkansas? What's going to be the right fit there for quarterback?
Well, they just got the kid from Boise State.
Yeah.
But the question is, you got a worse throwing KJ Jefferson. Is he faster than KJ? Yes, but KJ could run. KJ was a very effective runner. But KJ's a better passer than what I think people gave him credit for. This Taylor Green kid from Boise State can't throw.
So
he can't throw.
It seems like they'll bring in multiple guys from the pool.
I would think you would have to. I mean, if you're relying on this guy, then you might as well just run the Wildcat. That's what you're doing.
A couple more. Still, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, no official word out of Miami yet. We know Cam Ward was down there, had dinner with Rick Ross, all this kind of stuff. And then Will Howard also is meeting.
Well, it seems like it's one of those two for Miami. Or, I mean, Cam Ward's got to visit Florida State, too.
Grayson McCall, though, from Coastal Carolina, is going to NC State. Your thoughts there?
Natural progression. I think it's a good fit. The question with Grayson is, and the reason I didn't want him in Auburn is he can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
So
he's a good player when he does.
He's a good player when he is. I mean, hell, he's played a lot.
Like you saw NC State turn that season around when Steve Smith came out and called him a basketball school.
Yeah.
And started kicking people's asses. Mm-hmm. And one thing they were somewhat missing this year was a quarterback. So I think it's going to be a great fit for Grayson.
And then Tyler,
which is,
crazy to say.
crazy to say because Brennan Armstrong, I was so high.
Me too.
On Brennan Armstrong in the transfer portal, going from Virginia to NC State. I was just reuniting with Robert Anae, your old offensive coordinator. It just goes to show you can have all the Klinkos fall into the right spot and it's still not work out.
Tyler Van Dyke, Miami's former quarterback, going to Wisconsin.
Makes sense.
Your thoughts there? What's that going to mean for Tanner Mordecai? Or was he already? He was already.
Another guy. Those two guys. You bring them up. That was. We talk about how I was right on Pitt and right on Florida. I was so wrong on Wisconsin, and Tanner Mordecai blend in with Phil Longo. Who has some air raid principles. I like what Coach Longo does coming from Ole Miss. We've seen him at a lot of different places. I mean, I think it goes to show you they want to replace him. They're not bringing in Tyler Van Dyke because you did such a great job. Now, I know he got hurt, broke his hand at the end of the year. I wonder how much eligibility Mordecai has left, but just mixing him with Braylon Allen and even some of the pieces Wisconsin had on the outside, I know they're not the most talented at the skill position, and being in the Big Ten West, I thought for sure year one, Luke Fickell come in, make a statement, before you get rid of divisions. I was unbelievably disappointed, but I think it's a good fit. I mean,
yeah, I think it's a good fresh start for Van Dyke, and I think he needs it too. One situation I'm kind of interested in is the Ohio State situation. Right. Well, are they looking for quarterbacks in the transfer portal?
Well, they have to be. Right?
I mean, I know they had. I'm pretty sure they probably have.
Well, Cam Ward, we thought,
waiting in the wings somewhere, on that roster and that depth chart. But Ohio State, I just haven't seen it. Does Ryan Day? Does it warm up a little bit on that seat if they don't go get a quarterback?
Well, you've got to. Who you got? Is Devin Brown still there?
Look, this is a program that had Joe Burrow as the fourth-string guy.
Quinn Ewers.
Like, somebody will just pop up out of nowhere and be excellent.
There's always one waiting.
But it does seem a little bit weird right now. Like, I don't know if there's any truth to these rumors about Ryan Day potentially trying to get an NFL job, and that's what you're seeing.
Oh, if it's him, I'm trying to get it.
I don't know, but now Kyle McCord officially is not going to Nebraska.
Yeah, but like with Ryan Day, and I want to get to calls here in a second, but like if you go to the NFL now, man, it just looks like you're running. Like it just looks like you're running. Like it does though, doesn't it? It just looks like you're running.
Maybe you just want to coach on the highest level.
Well, maybe you're tired of getting your ass beat now by Jim Harbaugh. And you think sign stealing's bad in college? Wait till you go to the NFL, bud. Wait till you see that. Yeah. It's basically the KGB up there.
If you go and have success, it'll be forgotten.
For sure.
Like if you go to the Bears and get reunited with Justin Fields or something and you go win a Super Bowl, people will forget. Michigan fans won't, But they the same could have been said for Jim Harbaugh a few seasons ago when he was.
And I would have said the same thing.
We would have said the same thing, right? You want calls, you said?
Yeah, let's get to calls.
All right, let's go to Michael in Texas. Michael, how you doing?
What's up, Mike?
Morning, guys. David, happy belated birthday, sir.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Go Blue.
Anytime. I wanted to, first, before I say anything, I was hoping you guys can give a shout out to my little girl here. She's turning 1 tomorrow.
Oh, wow. The most important level up, getting to that first level.
Happy level up.
What's her name?
Awesome.
Madeline.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Madeline.
Anyway, so she says thank you, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I wanted to say the Rose Bowl prediction. You guys mentioned the QB run. What we need to see, basically, we need to see the J.J. McCarthy we saw when we beat Ohio State in last year in Columbus.
Agreed.
He was running against TCU. Now, the TCU thing, one thing that people forget to mention, the first drive we had, we were right on the goal line, and then when we were down the 4th and goal, we tried to get Q.
Ran a reverse.
Tight end pass from Loveland. Yeah, and that blew up in our face. You take that and then the 2 pick sixes, and that was the difference. I mean, TCU, to their credit, they executed when they had to, but then we beat ourselves.
Everything that could have gone wrong for Michigan in that game went wrong, and sometimes it's like that. But like you said, I don't think Michigan put their best foot forward. Alabama, you talk about the Ohio State game 2 years ago. Alabama's probably not giving you a lot of zero. Like Nick Saban and them are not going to let you.
They don't have to.
They don't have to, and they tackle well enough. And I keep saying this, and I really hope people understand this because it's an underrated part of the game. Alabama's secondary tackles really, really well. Not just against guys that have caught passes, right? But in the run game. Their corners tackle really well. Their safeties tackle really well. And that prevents those huge plays those huge chunk plays where we see Blake Corum break off that 25, 30-yard run to be able to go score. You're not going to get that. You may get it a couple times against Alabama, but if there's one way to do it, it's getting a hat on a hat. How do you get truly a hat on a hat? Quarterback, designed, run. That's how.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, another thing you mentioned, too, the Bama penalties, I'm surprised it hasn't been spoken a lot much because, like you said, they do get penalties at the worst possible times that could change the way the game goes. And Michigan, they don't beat themselves with penalties. They're very disciplined in that area. So that's one thing that could lean in their favor. But as good as Alabama is, we we need everything to go in our favor, I think. Because like I said before, I think we can beat Bama, we can play well with them, but we still need the ball to bounce our way a couple of times.
Mm-hmm. You always do in these games.
And look, I don't want to sit here Michigan's a damn good football.
Yeah,
they don't need to play a perfect game.
That's not what I'm saying.
Michigan,
because Bama's not going to play a perfect game.
Michigan's athletic. They're fast. They have depth. They're physical. Michigan checks all the boxes. They're not just some lower tier football team going to play this Alabama football team. Michigan's physical enough to meet with Alabama on the highest.
It's just like what Jake said earlier. It's about the brain.
The mental part.
Do you actually believe when you walk out there that, because when I saw them play, like Michael's talking about, go to Columbus last year and then in Ann Arbor this year, they walked on the field like, man, we know we're going to beat the Buckeyes. Can you do that against Bama?
I watched the whole game when I was watching Michigan now when I play Ohio State, wondering how Michigan's going to win it. Not how is Michigan going to lose it. Can Michigan win it? I watched that game saying, how is Michigan going to win it? I think that's the next step they got to get over against an Alabama or a Georgia. It's the last boss.
Yeah, one last thing I'll say about the mentality part of it. I don't know if you saw this picture, but they have a sign that was that, what are you going to do to beat Ohio State today? They've changed it to, what are you going to do to beat Alabama today?
Yeah.
So,
and listen, all that stuff's great, Mike. All the signs are great. All the speeches are great. Bring in Russell Crowe. Bring in Denzel to be the guy from training. That doesn't matter. Here's what matters. When they go back to their rooms at night, whether it's Blake Corum, whether it's the center, whether it's the safety, it doesn't matter. And they're by themselves in places you don't want to talk about. Do you truly believe that you are better than Alabama is? That's what it comes down to. It is self-belief that permeates throughout a team. Yep. It's not hoping to win. It's not wanting to win. It's knowing you're going to win. That, I think, can be the difference for this Michigan team. I think they can. I think they have that in them.
Appreciate it, Michael.
And I think they do, too. That's why they all came back. But yeah, thank you,
for
guys.
sure.
I appreciate it, Mike.
Exactly right.
Happy
Thank you,
birthday,
buddy.
Island.
Appreciate it. All right, let's stay in Texas and go to Sasha. Sasha, is it your level up day?
It is. Good morning, boys.
Man,
happy birthday,
Sasha. You did it.
That's everybody's birthday this week.
I know.
Number 36, so I'm right there with Cone.
Wow,
Levels.
man, we were born one day apart.
You guys are You guys are on the same level.
Yeah, maybe same hospital.
We were. We were even born the same week. David would have been born on Sunday. I was born on Monday.
How about that?
We're about to fight Bowser together. You
Karate in the garage.
I'll throw the fire. You throw the ice.
We are, and I'm right there in your corner. I'm carrying the shield for you.
Love it. Love it.
So one thing I want to get in real quick is I need a little bit of fantasy advice because I made the playoffs in 2 of my 3 leagues, and I've got the same problem in both leagues, and that was
good. You've called the right place.
I drafted Joey B. He obviously got injured, and so I now have 2 options at quarterback, and I really don't like either of them. I've got Will Levis or Joe Flacco.
All right, who are we playing? Who are we playing this week? Who the Titans got?
So
the Titans have the Texans at home.
Okay. Who do the Browns got?
The Browns have
The Browns
have the Bears at home.
Let me tell you who you play. You go play Joey Flax.
Really?
You go play Joey Flax.
Really?
All right, Joey's been playing well, and they've been putting up points.
Didn't he get demoted to the practice squad at some point, I thought?
Yeah, but look at the quarterbacks the Browns have. They're all practice squad guys, let's be honest. But it's still Joey Flacco, all right? And you still have Amari Cooper. You still have Njoku at tight end. You have pieces, and they've been moving the ball well. Even with the big win over the Dolphins, I just don't know how much I trust Will Levis.
Here's where I disagree, and this is why you play Will Levis. The key word that Blaine used in there when talking about the Browns was quarterbacks. They're playing multiple guys in games. We saw DTR come in to run the ball. Not that Flacco can't run. You're going to get nothing from him. They'll QB sneak him. Maybe you steal a touchdown to the QB sneak at the 1. But with Will Levis, he's going to play every snap. Mm-hmm. He's the quarterback for the Titans. Him and DeAndre Hopkins seem to have figured something out a little bit. That chemistry's working. But Will Levis will also run. He could turn it over 3 times. The Texans, I love DeMeco Ryans. They do some nice things on defense. But I think they are vulnerable, just like the Bears are, I think, against the Browns. But I think in a different way. I feel like Will Levis gives you more options to be able to have a higher ceiling, and he's going to play every snap at quarterback.
Joe Flacco's the quarterback for the Browns. He's playing every snap.
He's not playing every snap.
Yes, he literally played every snap last
DTR didn't
game.
play a snap last
Joe
game.
Flacco was 26 for 45 with 300.
So they ran 45 plays.
He threw for 311?
311, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Joey Flacco's the quarterback for the Browns right now. You need a guy right now.
So they ran 45 plays.
Joe Flacco played the entire game.
But they brought in different quarterbacks throughout that game to run the ball. I watched the whole game.
DTR had 1 carry for 5 yards.
Yes, so when there's a possibility that they're going to put DTR in that game.
Joey Flacco's the quarterback for the Browns. Okay. All right, this is what I'm telling you. I watched the game. All right, they're going to throw the hell out of it. They did against the Jaguars. They're going to do the same thing against the Bears. I can understand the Will Levis argument from a running standpoint. That's always there. But I think Joey Flacco right now has more weapons at receiver. Elijah Moore, Amari Cooper, Njoku at tight end, and that's why I would go with Joey Flacco.
Man, I think you just play Will Levis and pray. I think you just put him in and pray.
I mean, I don't think there's a wrong answer or a right answer here. I think you got to get lucky, Sasha. But to me, I would play Will Levis.
I'm going to go with the 2022 champion. That's David, because we all know he won and Blaine cheated.
Thank you, Sasha.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. Now
God, I can't wait.
I was not expecting
the fact that we're arguing between Will Levis and Joey Flacco knows I know you're going to lose.
You know what? Hold on. I just thought of this, though. If you're dealing with the same problem in both leagues, why don't you just start a different guy in each
Split
league?
the difference.
Just hedge that baby.
I got to win in both leagues. That's the thing.
Yeah. Well, hey, at least you and David have something in common. That's coming in second.
All right. Sean,
guys have a good one.
Hey,
see you, bud.
That's exactly right.
Winners are to win. Happy level up day.
Right.
And thanks again for that barbecue sauce. Let's go to Jonathan in Michigan. Jonathan, what's up?
Joe Nathan.
How's it going, boys?
What's up?
Hey, man.
I got something for Blaine, actually. Blaine, you're supposed to be a man of the people.
Yep.
Here we go.
The Flaming Dragon himself.
Yeah.
You need to keep my Lions offensive coordinator's name out.
Dude, hey,
right now.
bro, Lions fans are so protective over this man.
Somewhere. You're talking about he doesn't. What, he wants to go to Carolina? What
Look, money. First of all, money talks, and second of all, there's nothing like with that HC on your shirt.
Yeah,
that head coach.
Dude, Lions fans are so protective over Ben. It's
Ben
crazy.
Johnson.
He's already gone. He's already gone.
No.
He's gone. Okay, at the end of this year, he is going to get
The only way that he's staying with the Lions is if he replaces Dan Campbell, and I don't see that happening.
But it's a good thing.
Yeah, you want
man,
these
it's a
problems.
good thing.
When's the last time people were knocking down the door for Lions coaches?
Yeah, true.
That's a fair point, but it's the first time, guys. It's the first time we've been good in like.
I know.
We can't lose our offensive coordinator.
Oh, bro, them's the
They can
breaks.
find head coaches somewhere else. They can go somewhere else and go to college.
They get Ryan Day.
Maybe
Go get Ryan Day.
Look, nobody wants to go. No one wants to go be the head coach of the Panthers right now. Nobody with that guy in charge, that crazy owner. Nobody wants to go coach over there. I wouldn't be surprised if he turned down the Panthers job to stay in the Lions.
The better question, Jonathan, is what's the ceiling for the Lions in the postseason?
That's a great question. So we've really only seen them play like one playoff caliber team this regular season, and that was the Ravens. And then we're not going to rehash
Yeah, let's
what
not talk
happened there.
about that.
God, that was the
know
ass
how
beating
that
of a
went.
lifetime.
In all fairness, the Ravens have done
Obviously-
that to a bunch of teams. So
Ravens been the
That is
hottest team
true.
in the
That is
NFL.
true. We'll see when they play the Cowboys in a couple of weeks. Look, as a lifelong Lions fan, it's really easy to be pessimistic.
Yeah.
So, what is their ceiling? I it's hard to say. I can actually see them winning in the first round they play in. Do they make it past that? Do they make it to the championship round? I think the competition in the NFC is too outmatched for the Lions this year. I don't think they could stand up to the 49ers. I don't think they could stand up to the Eagles. So it's rough. It's rough right now to try to make it to the top of the NFC.
Jonathan, are you a Michigan fan too?
Obviously.
Well, what a great time to be alive, right? Michigan just beating Ohio State like a redheaded stepchild, making the playoff every year. The Lions are good. We're going to turn around. If the Tigers and the Pistons get good, I'm gonna start looking up.
I think,
like
I think the Pistons are on a 21-game losing streak. Right?
They put the Pistons.
I'm taking the Red Wings tonight with one of my bets. But
there we go. Yeah.
I think the Lions go as far as Jared Goff takes them.
I just don't try. I don't trust them.
Look, I'm not trying to be that guy right now, but I mean, you might just have a sledgehammer sitting in the arsenal at the quarterback room that nobody wants to talk about. You maybe can come in and fix everything. If Jared Goff keeps playing bad, all right. There's a guy I used to watch, a gazelle, a giraffe. I used to watch running around in Tennessee backfield making throws.
Say his name.
And breaking tackles, and that's Mr. Hendon Hooker.
Say his name.
Is he? Like I said, he's the most. He's the most dangerous.
Is he healthy? Is he good to go?
I think he's back.
I'd say he's the most dangerous hooker since Eileen Moore knows.
You have said that, man. All right, Jonathan. Thanks for calling.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, can I ask you something real quick about Jared Goff?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Where does the gumball smuggler thing come from?
Look, it looks like he's smuggling gumballs in his cheeks. He's got those chipmunk cheeks.
Yeah, he's got the squirrel cheeks, right? I don't know. He's got the.
He's got like.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Looks like he's smuggling.
He has like the True Detective season 3 face.
Sorry to disappoint. Wait,
it's like he's holding his breath all the time, like this.
The shapeshifter.
Hold on. A quick aside. Did you finally finish True Detective season 1?
Yes.
Okay, I want to talk to you about that later.
Yeah.
Jonathan, appreciate it. Hey, call in again before Michigan, Alabama play in the Rose Bowl. All right.
Absolutely. Thanks, gentlemen.
Thanks, man.
See you, bud.
All right, let's go to Hunter in Arkansas. Hunter, how's it going?
Good. I'm glad that we've discovered what the gumball smuggler. I was also going to ask that question.
You asked, yeah. Looks like he's waiting for winter.
Gumball smuggler, shovel face, Michael Phelps.
Yeah,
I understood the shovel face, but the gumball smuggler kind of just threw me. I just never wanted to ask that until today.
Yeah, well, good. We learn something new every day.
It just looks like if I took my hands and I slapped Jared Goff's cheeks like this together, like.
No, his ancestors smuggled in gumballs.
For sure.
And they started.
So they
actually a racketeering.
It's an evolution thing. It's an evolution thing. That makes sense.
Wrigley's Gum. And
sponsored by Buc-ee's.
Wrigley's Gum.
Sorry.
All right.
But yes, please continue, Hunter. Yes, Hunter, please continue with the phone call.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fun. The real reason why I called today was I have a weird. I don't know if it's a hot take, but it's definitely a take on bowl season.
Yeah. Hot take.
Well, when you say it's not a hot take, I know it's going to be a hot take. So
look, I'm not trying to be an asshole or anything. And immediately that comes after is going to be an asshole.
What you got, Hunter?
I feel like next year when they go to the 12-team playoffs, they need to restructure the bowl season. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like the minimum win count should be higher. Because like. Right now, there's
you talking about 7
right now.
Should win 7.
So you have to have a winning record.
I'd say because like there's a bunch of bowls and it's 2 mediocre teams playing each other.
But Well, you're always going to run into that at some point with the bowls, even with the 7 win mark. But I mean, it's more games, more money in most instances. I mean, some of these bowl games I think actually lose money. But here's my problem with the bowls: it's not even the record; it's the tie-ins. I hate the tie-ins. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sick of them. It's old. It's boring. I don't care anymore. I'm sick of watching Auburn play Northwestern or like Iowa or like some middle-of-the-road big team. Can we just let the bowls pick, like, hey, here's the availability of the teams. You want them first come, first serve. Reach out to them. If they say yes, then I think it'd make it more fun.
Well, true, because, like, look at, like, your guys' team, Auburn, for example. Like, they're 6-6, but they've lost, I think 3 of their losses were to teams that have less than 2 losses or as many as 2 losses.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not talking about that New Mexico State game. We don't. Not that
what?
One, but
what game is that? You mean the one where we beat New Mexico State in the first round of the NCAA tournament?
Look, if we're going to be honest and have an honest conversation, why isn't Auburn in the playoff?
Yeah.
You know?
That's the way I see it.
I mean, the 4 best. He came down.
Look at Georgia and Bama played tight.
I mean, beat us on a 4th and 31. I tweeted this. I mean, why didn't South Alabama in the playoff? I mean, Oklahoma. What was it?
Oklahoma State.
Alabama lost to Texas.
Alabama lost to Texas.
Texas lost to
Oklahoma, who lost to Oklahoma State,
who lost to South Alabama.
How South Alabama not a playoff
James
team?
Madison.
Come on, to James Madison. Let's be honest. Let's get the best in.
Wow. Well, there you have it, Hunter. I hope that solves all your problems.
Yes, Hunter. I hope that answers exactly why you called in.
Good enough.
Well, okay, guess what? That's going to be on my headstone.
Thanks for calling in, Hunter. We appreciate it, man. All right, let's go to Keegan in Kansas. Kansas. Nice alliteration there this morning.
Hey guys, how you doing?
What's up,
man?
Keegs?
I'm a big Vikings fan, and I got a theoretical question. So yesterday or the day before, the Vikings designated Kirk Cousins to eventually come off of IR, stating if they make the playoffs, they're going to try to play him.
Yep.
If they are able to sprinkle some fairy dust on that Achilles and he comes back, how far can the Vikings go with a 80% Kirk Cousins?
Not to the Super Bowl. I don't trust the Vikings defensively. Like, to me, we can sit here and obviously we talk about Kirk Cousins in the playoffs. You know, that's been a problem. I understand that. I just don't think the Vikings have a good enough team to be able to actually win a Super Bowl. I think they could win a playoff game. But, I mean, here's the thing with Kirk Cousins. Like, he comes back from the Achilles. What are you really going to miss? His running ability? Like, I think Kirk Cousins is going to beat you from the pocket. That's how it's going to work. So I don't think it's as detrimental. Not that it doesn't suck. It does suck. I mean, tearing your Achilles. I think it affects Kirk Cousins different than Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers is somewhat mobile, right? He can move outside. Not that Kirk doesn't extend the play sometimes within the pocket, maybe a couple times outside the pocket. But again, I'll say what I keep saying about the Vikings. Kirk Cousins is not the problem. A lot of people pretend like Kirk Cousins is the problem. That is not the Vikings' biggest problem. It's like when Deion Sanders demoted Sean Lewis as the offensive coordinator. Why are we talking about things that aren't the main problem? So I think they could win a playoff game if they're able to get there and he's able to come back and play. But I don't think they're good enough as an overall team to be able to do what deep down I know what you want them to do, Keegan.
Well, Nick Mullins is going to start this weekend at the Bengals, who also are going to be starting a backup quarterback, Jake Browning. And then they got the Lions, the Packers, and the Lions again.
Yeah, we definitely do not have an easy stretch of games coming up, but I wanted to touch on that defense. I actually think the Vikings defense is currently their best asset. I think in the last 3 games they haven't allowed an offensive touchdown or something crazy like that. So I don't know if it's our defense's problem at the moment. I think we just lack that veteran guy or that truly great quarterback. Kirk Cousins is not the problem. I used to think he was, but I no longer think that after seeing his numbers this first year. We got to stop turning the ball over. That just kills me. But I think you're right. 1 playoff game, maybe 2 if we're able to sneak past somebody who looks over us.
Yeah, and listen, I understand the defense has been playing better, but look at who you've played those last 3 games. I'm not worried about you shutting out the Raiders in the playoffs. Like, can Minnesota be able to get over the hump and beat the teams that are capable, right, that are more complete teams, that are more balanced teams when they get in there? That's my worry. Obviously, the defense is going to be less of a worry than the offense right now when you're having to start Nick Mullins at quarterback. I mean, if I put out, Elmo or Oscar the Grouch at quarterback, obviously I'm going to feel better about the defense. I just wonder if they can do it, and this has been a Vikings problem, when it matters the most, and that's in the playoffs.
Well, you did give up 17 against San Francisco. I think it's week 7, week 8. Yeah. So, I mean, you had showed up in certain moments, but if you don't have Kirk out there, it's not going to matter. You got to have Justin Jefferson out there as well, which I do think Justin, if I'm not mistaken, will be back.
He said he plans to play
against the Bengals, correct? Yeah. So, I mean, maybe
well, Justin came back last week. He played like 1 series,
but he got hurt on the first play.
Pass he caught.
Appreciate it, Keegan.
We'll see, man.
Keegan, we'll see, buddy. Good luck. We're talking the Lions and Vikings and Bears. Oh, my.
I love it. All right, 2 more callers. Let's go to Jack in Mobile.
Hey, guys. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's up,
Jack? So last night the SEC had a chance to right an egregious wrong, and they did not. They still gave Auburn road trips to Georgia and to Alabama. in the same year.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm fairly happy with the schedule. I just want to get your thoughts on the release in its entirety.
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about the schedule releases tomorrow on the show. When it comes to, I'm so just used to playing Alabama and Georgia every year, and it's either all at home or all on the road. Maybe I'm numb to it now. Maybe I'm numb to it. Now, I will say, I'm glad that they don't get played back-to-back. You know, I think where they did Auburn some favors is I think Alabama plays Oklahoma the week before they play Auburn, and then Georgia plays Texas, I think, or may play Alabama the week before they play Auburn. I'm not 100% sure. But
Auburn plays Oklahoma the week before Georgia.
Auburn plays Oklahoma the week before Georgia, but I think Georgia plays either Alabama or Texas the week before Auburn, and Alabama plays Oklahoma the week before that. Listen, with the teams in the SEC now outside of Vandy, it sucks anyway. So, look, with the permanent rivals, just give us Vanderbilt, too.
Here's Auburn's full schedule for next year. Alabama A&M, Cal, you get them at home with that home and home from this year. New Mexico, Arkansas.
Who?
New Mexico.
New Mexico.
No state.
Oh,
New Mexico,
God.
Arkansas, Oklahoma, all at home. Then you go to Georgia. You have your bye week. You go to Missouri, go to Kentucky, Vanderbilt at home, another bye week, ULM, Texas A&M at home, and then on the road for the Iron Bowl.
God, 8-4. Just smells 8-4.
Well, we don't even know who's playing quarterback.
I know, it just smells like 8-4. Are the first 5 games at home?
All 5.
God, can't wait to get my hopes up.
Unless this is a neutral site and it's not saying it, but it looks like all home games.
Yeah.
We might not win again.
Jack, we'll see, bud. Let's see who's at quarterback.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to play out. I'm not convinced that we're going to get one, but that's.
Look, I wouldn't be shocked either way. I think you got to, like I said, you got to go get the right guy. You can't just go get a guy to get a guy.
Yeah,
all right.
Absolutely.
That's fine. We don't get a quarterback. Y'all enjoy it next year. Y'all enjoy watching Peyton Thorne back there. It's going to be great.
Well, I mean, I don't think Jack's saying we're not trying to get a quarterback. It's like, I don't want to go out there and get a guy that's not any good. Just waste everybody's time that's worse than Peyton Thorne.
Some good ones in the portal.
Yeah, well, then get them. I'm saying get them. But don't, if we're not
in the business of looking for any.
Hugh will get somebody.
That's what I'm hearing is like, that's not our main focus. Okay. I think it should be.
That's just what they're telling you.
But good luck. I hope it's propaganda. God, I hope it is.
Here, it's the phones are ringing off the hook. It's a Wolf of Wall Street situation.
Yeah, he's back in the office like, hey, we need a quarterback. It's the main emphasis.
All right, Jack. We appreciate it, man.
Jack.
All right, let's go to Angelo in Pennsylvania.
Morning, guys. How's it going?
Angelo, what's up?
What's up, buddy?
So I heard you guys yesterday talking about Marcus Freeman and James Franklin. As you guys know, I'm a Penn State fan, but I have a lot of Notre Dame fans in my family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you that it is a little early. It is a little disrespectful to be saying Freeman and Franklin are similar, but Freeman has some time. With that being said, though, Franklin go to USC. It was a rumor the year that they hired Lincoln Riley.
Did he though, Angelo, or was that a play? Was that a Jimmy Sexton special? That just smelled like, I just look at the menu and it's the number 4, the Jimmy Sexton special that I may be leaving. I may have called U-Haul earlier today. Are you nervous yet?
Here's my point. Here, I guess would be my point. If it was possible for him to go there, do you think he'd be doing better than Riley is right now? I know that might be controversial, but
yes.
I mean,
yes.
Recruiting at USC, it's definitely a different level than Penn State, and I'm a Penn State fan. It's just 1A and 1B. I just feel like Penn State fans are a little ungrateful for this dude. He's winning 11 years consistently, or 11 wins consistently every year.
Don't let Ohio State fans hear you say that.
If he went to USC, I feel like he would have had a shot to do better than Riley is right now.
I think they'd be better on defense.
Well, Lincoln went 11-3 that first year, though. He went 11-3 and had the Heisman Trophy winner that first year. So as bad as it got this year, that was still an impressive.
Yeah, but I mean, he had the returning Heisman Trophy winner and had a year to change the roster.
I would rather you'd have been mediocre your first year and then come be mediocre.
Well, I get it, but we can't just ignore what.
No, you can't ignore it. But I will say with James Franklin, it's funny that they were almost the inverse this year. USC was an offensive dominant team. Penn State was obviously a defensively dominant team. But I think overall, Penn State has been more balanced. than what Lincoln Riley has had at Oklahoma or USC. Not that Lincoln's a bad coach. I think we're comparing two really good coaches. But I would take James Franklin over Lincoln Riley. I would.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Angelo, appreciate
Appreciate it, man.
That's all for today.
All right. I'm going to head over.
Penn State's just, they're in it rough right now.
Well, I mean, wow, what a great situation.
Did y'all see that Dylan Mulvaney video?
Oh, yeah. Y'all can't be doing that.
What happened?
Especially after everything that happened. Y'all can't be doing
Decked
that.
out in Penn State stuff.
Y'all can't be doing that.
Wait, Dylan Mulvaney was decked out in Penn
You
State?
didn't? No, you went to speak at Penn State.
Oh, yeah.
And, there was, 8 people there. Like 6 of them were his family.
Yeah, just...
To speak about what?
I don't know.
It's Penn State.
Dressing like a chick.
It's not the school, man. Penn State's just been through a lot.
I don't get it, man. I think y'all's PR team sucks. Here's what I got. Speaking of sucks, Southern Miss. Wow. Y'all get embarrassed by McNeese. You couldn't even get beat by McNephew. But I will say, Mississippi State, Murray State, that over got smashed. That was like stealing. So tonight, little Marquette. I believe in Shaka Smart. Give me Marquette minus 24. Okay, at home they play St. Thomas of Minnesota. Okay. I mean, it's one guy, even though he's a Saint, you should be able to beat him by 24. And then I'm going to take the over in that game at 139 because I think Marquette may score 115 points. So I just need St. Thomas Aquinas of Minnesota, whatever, just to score at least 35, 40 points.
That's him for sure.
For sure. It got to be, right?
All right, shout out to FAU yesterday hitting that TTP over 8.5. I love it, but I'm going to go with some NHL. It's time to hop on the hockey train this betting season. I want to go Maple Leafs minus a goal and a half, minus 105. They're hosting the Blue Jackets. Might get ugly. And then Red Wings money line hosting the Hurricanes. Red Wings 15-9 right now. Home game. Let's see what happens.
Love it. 2-0 yesterday. I was surprised I didn't hear Steve calling.
Steve hadn't called in to tell you.
Congratulate me. He's just praying on my downfall, it feels like. Let's go. I'm going with Farver and the boys today. Give me the Raiders.
Tell them why you call him Farva.
The stash.
Aiden O'Connell?
Yeah, Aiden O'Connell. It's the stash.
He kind of looks
like Farver's face, right? Head shape and the stash. Put him in a police.
He does have round face.
Farver. Yeah, you got to
say Car Ramrod.
Yeah, exactly. Give me money line, Raiders. Then I'm going Josh Jacobs. First touchdown scored. That's going off at plus.
Is anybody going to score a touchdown in this game?
60.
Maybe it should be any touchdown scorer.
Yeah.
Should be at plus 460. Everybody. All right. Ace. He's going to take the Marquette TTP. We're surrounding Marquette tonight. Over 81.5. That's going off at minus 120. And then Wisconsin at home against Jacksonville State. Under 125. Wisconsin. Sneaky. As usual. Just hope Juwan Howard doesn't punch our coach again. All right, let's get to the donos.
Chase Mills with a $20 donation.
Chase up!
I've been doing my whole life, brother. Thoughts on the news of Caden Green, abrupt transfer from OU. Reports on that, not one coach or player knew he was in the portal until the media asked at practice. Sounds like there was definitely tampering involved.
And who? With who?
Caden Green.
Oh, yeah, the offensive lineman from Oklahoma.
Yeah, apparently Oklahoma's lost their entire offense.
Listen, tampering, there is tampering. I'm just telling you right now, everybody's tampering. Just like everybody used to pay high school players, everybody's tampering. So we need to go ahead and just get used to that fact. There's ways to do it.
All right, let's go to the Humping Badger, $5 donation.
What
was he?
Got out, Dave.
The what?
Cone's tears will look delicious after Bama takes Michigan out by 4 scores. 7th natty for Saban Cumming, and wins Connor Stallions when you need them.
Outside time is over, Badger.
Got away.
Get back in the basement.
He's out. And he also asked if he's allowed in the trust tree.
If Bama wins by 4 scores, Cone's going to be in a bad spot.
That's the biggest fear is what if Alabama ends up beating Michigan so badly it's not a competitive game and it would have been a better matchup against Florida State? That would be the saddest
if that happens, if you're Michigan, you lose I think you lose a lot of hope.
Yeah.
Especially
with all of the changes that come to college football next season, with the conference expansion and the playoff expansion, and it's is Jim Harbaugh going to be suspended next year for all this stuff that's gone on? The time is now. The time is now. You can't go get blown out by Alabama.
Y'all got that Guantanamo schedule.
Yeah, we got Texas on the schedule, Oregon, USC, all sorts of stuff, man.
So Jake's Extra Strong Cologne with a $2 donation. He says, Draymond Green's a hero we need in this soft era of the NBA.
Wow.
Yeah, but to me, it's soft when you're hitting people when they're not looking. I think that's soft.
Let's go to... I believe it was Eagle who said they'll look at Florida's schedule next year. You can already say, bye, Billy.
That's why they're not going to bring in a new guy this year so he can go play that schedule year one and get wrecked and then have to rebuild it even more. They're going to let Billy either sink or swim this next year. That's not a Florida joke either.
Minnie Thin thinks the offensive coordinator from the Lions will be the OC at the Steelers.
No, I wouldn't leave the Lions. Go to the Steelers.
No.
Hell no.
Minnie Thin?
For Pickett? No.
Minnie Thin.
We got a Minnie Thin in there?
A Minnie Thin in there. So to Lee Thompson, he says, Kirk Cousins is not the problem. When the team scores over 30 points, you should be able to win that football game.
Agree 100%. 100%.
I just don't know if you bring Kirk back. I don't think they're going to make it to the playoffs anyway. Let's go to PD. Texas, every SEC schedule is a cupcake. FCS team with 20 less scholarship players. Even FSU did it. I believe he's referring to Texas Ed this year. What's wrong with scheduling a cupcake?
Florida State played North Alabama.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see you crying over that. Like, this is what... So, okay. So where do you fall on the fence? If you're falling on the fence that Florida State should have got in, then I can understand you making that argument because you're saying the regular season that the regular season matters. Where I get upset is when people are like, "Oh, well, the SEC plays a cupcake schedule, but the regular season, but the SEC should still get in because Alabama's just better than Florida State." So then you're saying the regular season doesn't matter. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Hashtag Sark After Dark. What's up, brother? He says, "Don't be confused. Maalik Murphy is not that great of a runner."
Well, he's good enough. He's serviceable. He's a lot better than some what you're going to get. He's a threat enough to be effective.
I hate that he's not going to be available for Texas in the playoffs, though.
See,
that's the weirdest part to me. Is like, I get it. You're going to transfer because Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning are still there, but man, just leave.
Well, you're kind of you're in a tough spot because you got to get somewhere and get in there, especially when everybody's picking a spot. It's kind of like musical chairs. Like, eventually you got to sit down and find a place. But when you're one of the 4 teams where your game really still matters.
Wait, so what you're saying is that we shouldn't have a 5-week layoff from the end of the regular season to the start of the playoffs?
That would eliminate another problem, David.
Because we would have already played this game.
That's exactly right.
We would have already played this first round.
Exactly
game.
right.
Then open up the portal after that.
Benzin Jean says FSU risks losing the genuine goodwill of the country. If they don't move on at this point, it's starting to look bad.
Move on, like, from the ACC, or are you talking about not talking about being upset anymore?
I think not talking about being upset anymore.
I'm going to talk about this until the end of time. Are you kidding? I'm a Florida State fan. I don't care if we win the next 9 national championships. It should have been 10. Like, I'll scream at you about 2004 forever. Like, that's never ending.
All right,
Goodwill. You kept us out of the playoffs. What do you mean, screw your goodwill? I'm burning this whole thing down.
The goodwill?
All of it. The goodwill, the bad will, the medium will, the goodwill hunting, doesn't matter.
All right, let's get to the poll. Was the Draymond Green suspension too much?
No, 65%.
70%.
No, 71%.
Wow.
Yes,
nice.
29.
Well done. Thank you, guys. Make sure you subscribe. Go check out Lady Ballers if you haven't. Grab some of that merch. Obviously, check out Good Ranchers and Genucel. Got a great show for you tomorrow. We're going to be talking about the schedule releases. So make sure you check us out. May have a guest, may not have a guest. We're going to keep y'all guessing when it comes to guesting. See what I just did there? Like the chances of Draymond Green hitting you when you're looking. We're going. Gah! Gone. When it turns over, it screws up because the air...